everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my daily routine for how I get my mind clear, how I get mentally ready for the rest of the day ahead, and how I make sure that I get everything done that I need to get done. I'm also going to share a secret weapon that I created for getting my mind clear. It's called Morning Sheets, and it is a tool that I use every single day. It's right here, and I'm going to go over this sheet. I'm going to go over how I use it, how you can use it, and I'm also going to share with you how you guys can get a free printable version if you want. So let's get into it. So I'm a busy mom, as many of you are. I have a lot on my plate. My mind is constantly being pulled in many different directions. For those of you who don't know, I do have two girls, a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. They are home full-time right now. On top of that, I am also taking an online business school. It's Marie Forleo's B School. Really loving it. It's really amazing, but it is a lot on my plate. I wasn't planning to have both kids home full-time when I was taking that, but that's the way it's working out. I'm also growing my own personal business. I'm working on a more consistent content calendar, posting videos every single week. And then of course I also have all of the normal chores and all of the cooking of the meals and all of the self-care things and everything that I am trying to balance right now, and it's really a lot. And a quick side note, I'm not a naturally organized person. I'm not even a naturally clean person. Like, I will be honest about that. Cleaning is not my strong suit. It's not that I don't like it. Well, no, I don't like it, but it's more than that. It's just not a natural thing for me. You know, messes don't really bother me, although they're starting to now that I'm becoming more self-aware. Like, clutter and messes and even like dirty dishes never used to bother me. It's taken me a long time to get to this place where I see that it's a problem and I recognize that the best way to solve the problem is to just take care of it right away. We also are relatively new homeowners. We've been in this house for almost a year. Our 1-year anniversary in this house is coming up very soon. And so I'm still learning how to kind of find a rhythm in the house and keep the whole house clean and organized. And it's a challenge because I'm not naturally good at it. It's not something that comes naturally to me. It really has taken a lot of work for me to get to a place where I feel good about it. And I'm not there yet. I'm still working on that. And that actually kind of brings me to why I created Morning Sheets in the first place. Is it's one step towards helping me to really like lay out visually, like literally visually lay out what's on my mind, what needs to be done, what my mental roadblocks are, what my emotional roadblocks are, and then doing some work to turn that into as positive of a situation as I possibly can. So this year I've really been on a journey to get to the bottom of myself. I want to become the best version of myself, creating more consistent content or keeping the house clean. Basically, I want to be the best version of myself so that I can live the best life possible and get the most out of my life. My current focus has been on my morning routine because I really believe that a good day starts with a good morning. I've noticed a huge difference in the way that I feel throughout the whole day, my mood throughout the whole day, when I start my morning off the way that I want to. This video isn't necessarily a morning routine. I am planning on filming a morning routine and tips for creating your own morning routine very soon, but this video is sort of focused on one part of the morning routine, and that is the mental and emotional part. And I feel like this is something that I never used to think about. I always used to think a morning routine was like, do this and this and this, brush your teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast, work out. Like, there's certain things that I always used to have in my head that I should be doing in the morning. But getting mental clarity and emotional clarity was never something that I thought was important. I just never thought about it until recently. I've been really thinking about it and really breaking it down into how I can do that step by step. And it has made a huge difference in my overall mood, my overall productivity, and it's also made a difference in my self-awareness throughout the day. When I start the morning off aware of any potential roadblocks, any potential negative thoughts or feelings that I have, I'm really able to carry on throughout my day with that same awareness. So Morning Sheets is kind of like a to-do list, it's kind of like a journal, but more. It's like a to-do list and a journal combined in one and expanded upon. It's divided into 4 sections. So the 4 sections are to-do list, brain dump, positive affirmations, and then bullet journal. And you can divide these sections however you want. You can add a 5th section, you can switch one out for something else that you feel like you want to do. When it comes to the to-do list, you can choose all of your own priorities. You don't have to use mine. It's very customizable, and I really encourage you to use this however you see fit and to just experiment and be flexible, because that's what I do. I still sometimes change up how I use this. All right, so let's talk about the first section. So I did mention briefly that you guys will be able to get a printable version of morning sheets. Not only will you get this double-sided sheet that you can use every single day, you'll also get a guide that comes with it. I think it's like a 5-page guide or something that I wrote, kind of explaining more in depth my thoughts and sort of motivations behind creating this. In that guide, one of my favorite metaphors that I use is about the rocks and sand and water in a jar, and you've probably heard this before. The basic idea is if you have a clear glass jar, you have some rocks, you have some sand, you have some water. If you want to put all of these things into the jar and you start with the sand or you start with the water and you fill the jar up, you're not going to have any room for the rocks. Even if you fill the jar halfway up, you'll fit some of the rocks in there, but you won't be able to fit as many rocks in your jar as you would if you put the rocks in first and put them in with intention. For the purposes of this metaphor, the rocks are your priorities, and the sand is less important things that has to get done, and the water is like not important time draining things like your phone or Netflix or stuff like that. And so yeah, that's basically the metaphor. If you fill your jar up with water or time wasting activities, you don't have time for the important tasks, and you know, it's easy to fill your jar up with the sand and the water, and then you'll end up not getting your priorities done. If you really want to get your priorities done, if they're true priorities, you have to prioritize them. But the cool thing, the good news, is that once you fill your jar up with all of your priorities, all of your rocks, there's still room in there to fill it up with sand. And then once you've filled it up with that sand, those less important tasks, there's still even a little bit of room for the time-wasting, meaningless activities like Netflix and your phone. So you don't have to give up the time-wasting things. You don't have to give up your hobbies. You don't have to give up time on your phone or watching Netflix. It's just if you want to get your priorities done first, you have to do them first. You have to put the rocks in the jar first. So that's kind of my thought process for the to-do list, right? So basically, I divided my to-do list into 7 sections, and I just kind of made a list of all of my big life priorities, things that I want to work on every single day. Okay, so the first step in creating the perfect to-do list is to figure out what your priorities are. I do have a version of Morning Sheets that has my priorities on it. When you get the download in your email, you will get 2 versions of Morning Sheets. You will get my version has all of my priorities that, I mean, they're pretty general. They're not like super weird things. I wanted to give you one version so that if you wanted a place to start with priorities, you could start with mine. And then I will also send you a blank version that has just blank lines instead of actual words, and you can fill in your own priorities, so you can choose which version of Morning Sheets you would like. I'm just going to run through my priorities really quickly because I think a lot of us will have similar priorities. Again, these are just the things that I want to give attention to in my life every single day. So first I have chores. That's pretty self-explanatory. I have a daily rotating list of chores that I have to do every single day. So there's chores that I have to do every day, like dishes, laundry, sweeping the floor, stuff like that. But then there's also things like cleaning the bathroom, vacuuming, stuff that I don't have to do every day, but maybe more like once a week. And I have a rotating calendar for that. I think my next mini course is going to be on cleaning, and I'm going to make some worksheets for that. So that's something, like I said, I'm not naturally good at it, so it's something that I'm really working on. So I will share with you guys as I get better at that. I will definitely be sharing that with you, but that is something that I'm working on. So the second category I have on here is work. I do work from home, like I said. I'm building my own business, so I will put on here any daily chores that I have to do, like blog posts. I launch about 5 blog posts a week, so try to do one every single day during the week. I also will put on here if I'm batching my social media content, so like Instagram, I would put on there if I need to film a video like I am today, or edit a video, or post a video, whatever it is, anything related to work. I also put my ongoing education on there, so like I said, I'm taking B-School right now. Any modules that I'm doing, any fun sheets that I have to do, or anything I want to complete within that course, I will put that under the work category as well. The next category is family. That is pretty self-explanatory and honestly not even a to-do. do. It's more of just a reminder. One of the things I am working on and bettering myself is to be more present with my children, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at a time, even if it's while we're doing a chore like doing laundry together or doing the dishes together, just to make sure that I'm spending that time connecting with them and just being really present with them. So I might put an activity or an idea on here, like to play a game, or Lila comes up with all of these ideas that she wants to do. You know, anything that you can do with your family, and it doesn't have to be something that you check off. It can just be present with my kids. But I like to have a couple of ideas so that throughout the day I can plan ahead too. So like if it's a craft or something, I can get the supplies all ready before I even tell my kids we're gonna do this, make sure that I'm ready for it. The next category is food. Obviously everyone has to eat, right? So I am the main food cooker in the family. I also really love cooking and creating new recipes. I share a lot of recipes on my blog, and I'm also trying to do more meal prep just for myself and make sure that I have healthy options, because a lot of the things that I like no one else likes, so I end up just cooking what everyone else likes and not what I like. The next category is planning. This one varies from day to day, but this is where I will put if I have any appointments I have to schedule, any people that I have to call, any things that I have to plan. So like meal planning or grocery planning. Now we have to plan our grocery trips way in advance because of the current circumstances. Also take that as a reminder to look through all of my current planners. I do have 3 different planners in use right now. That's just the way that I roll. But I'll take a moment to just look at all of them and make sure that I'm kind of on the same page with everything that has to be done. Next is self-care. This is a very personal category, but I do think it's very important. I do think everybody should have this category on their to-do list, because it's easy to forget when you see these physical things that need to be done, like the dishes need to be done and the laundry needs to be done and the kids need this and the family needs this and the house needs this and the work needs this and the food needs this. Like, it's easy to forget to take care of yourself. I started to notice a lot of connection between when I take care of myself and when I don't, and like little aches and pains that I get. I have chronic back pain, I have anxiety and depression, and I'm not saying like a bubble bath is gonna cure all of that, but scheduling time for self-care, whatever that means to you, whether it is a bubble bath or maybe it's meditation or maybe it's going for a run or writing in your journal or working on a project that's important to you. I am going to talk about projects in a second though, but you know, anything that is purely for you, that builds yourself back up, that fills your bucket back up. Those are the kinds of things. So some examples for me are like meditation. I like to read my tarot cards. I like to do yoga. Working out, I would put working out under here since I don't have a category for working out, but I also don't work out in the mornings. I usually do that around noon or in the afternoons. So that's part of the reason why that's not on here, but that could definitely go under self-care too. And I also put beauty things in this category. So if I have to like I don't wax anything, what am I saying? Like tweeze my eyebrows or do a face mask, do my nails, like I did that today, that was on my self-care list. You know, stuff like that I also put under self-care, because to me that is self-care. And I've talked about this before, but like taking care of my physical appearance is somewhat of a spiritual activity for me. Okay, so that's self-care. Let's move on to the last on my to-do list, and that is current project. And this can be anything. This can be a DIY project that you're doing. Let's say you're like reupholstering your couch, or you're doing spring cleaning. This could be spring cleaning, or you're, I don't know, knitting a rug. Knitting a rug? Do you knit rugs? No. Sew rugs? How do you make rugs? Let's say you're knitting a blanket or a quilt or whatever. So this could be a hobby. This could be something that's sort of fun, but also sort of work. You know what I mean? It could be like, let's say you have to do yard work. That could be your current project. It could be something in the garden. It could be, like I said, spring cleaning. For me right now, my current project is kind of organizing the whole house. So obviously this isn't something that you're gonna do in one day. It can be, it could be like today's project, I'm gonna clean out this closet, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do this shelf, you know, or it could be like my goal this week or this month is to clean out this room, and I'm just gonna work on it a little bit every day. And you can do specific things like I'm gonna clean out this shelf in this closet today, or you can just say work on this room a little bit today, you know, for a certain amount of time or something, whatever works for you. The only rule when it comes to current project, and I don't give you a lot of rules, but this is a rule that I really am going to enforce, and that is that you only do one project at a time. So don't allow yourself to start a new project if you already have another project going on. We've all been there. We're cleaning out the game closet and then we find a sock in the game closet, so we have to go upstairs and put the sock away, and then we realize the sock drawer needs to be cleaned out, so we take that and we dump that out, and then we find a toy in the sock drawer, so then we have to take that toy into the toy box, and then we find the toy box needs to be organized, so we dump that out, and all of a sudden we have 3 messes instead of 1 mess that we have to clean up, and 3 projects going instead of 1. It just makes things more complicated. Focus on just one project at a time and you will be golden. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, so I do feel like the to-do list took a really long time. I don't think the other 3 sections are going to take nearly that long. That's just because I had to go over each of my priorities. But the other ones won't take that long because it's really just like one subject. So, the next one is brain dump. So when you hear the words brain dump, you might think of something different, but for these purposes, let's think of it as our way to become aware of and improve our mental state. Later, I'm going to talk about the bullet journal, which is focused more on our emotional state. This is going to be our mental state. So to me, what that means is our thoughts. What thoughts are going through our head? What things are on our mind that are affecting our emotions? Because mental and emotional definitely are connected, but they are different. So to reach mental clarity, I use the brain dump. And I literally just write down whatever is on my mind. Most of the time, these will be worries or negative thoughts or things from the past, like the previous day, that bothered me, things that are still on my mind. I deal with a lot of anxiety related to the past and the future. So, you know, being present is a big thing for me, which is part of why I love this activity. A lot of times things that I'm worried about or concerned about that already happened will just stay on my mind and affect my mood and affect my mental clarity. So I will use this as an opportunity to write those things down. So I might write down something that happened yesterday that bothered me, something that hasn't happened yet that I'm worried about. You could also start by writing down like your dreams or writing down your feelings, literally anything. And if you want to write down your emotions, that's okay too. Whatever you want to write down, whatever's on your mind, let it flow. You know, let it flow. And I know that there is I don't know if it's a program, I've never actually done it, but morning pages where people say they write down like 3 pages every morning. And if you can do that, that is fantastic. I am not against that. I cannot write that much. This is the brain dump. As you can see, it's literally half a page. So if you are a beginner and you're just getting into like journaling or just getting into something like that, this might be a better place to start. For me, it certainly is. And some days I do feel like writing more, and then I will. I'll just grab another piece of paper or my journal and I'll write in that. But most days I don't. Most days it's enough for me to just write down on this. So just wanted to say that. Another thing I wanted to add is that the goal of the brain dump is not to dig up negative thoughts or negative feelings. So if you sit down and you're feeling great and you're feeling motivated and ready for your day, you don't have to be like, okay, well, what's a negative thought? What's a negative thought that I have to put on my brain dump? You know, you don't have to do that. That is not productive. The whole goal here with everything is to focus on the positive. So if you're already feeling positive, then that's great. You can write down some positive things. You can write down whatever you want, whatever's on your mind, but don't go digging for negative things. Only deal with negativity if it's already on the surface, if it's already affecting your mood and affecting your mental clarity and most likely going to affect your day. That's when we want to deal with the negativity. Moving on to the next section, we have positive affirmations. So this ties right in with the brain dump because this is where you're going to take any of those negative thoughts and negative statements, worries, anxieties, whatever it is, and you're going to match them with a positive affirmation. Notice I didn't say you're going to change them into positivity. You're just going to match them with a positive affirmation because a lot of times we can't get rid of our worries. I mean, if you can, that's amazing, good for you. I can't. Like, especially if it's real intense stuff like feelings of depression and stuff that I don't even fully understand. There's no way that I can write that away with words, but I can write down those negative thoughts and then I can match them with positive thoughts. So the first step is just become aware of them. You know, bring them to the top, say, okay, here you are, I see you, I recognize you, I acknowledge you, I will work with you and we will get through this together. And then the second step is to say, okay, by the way, like I see you, negative thought, you're there. I'm not gonna focus on you, I'm gonna focus on this positive thought. I'm gonna make this positive thought and this is where my energy is gonna go. So obviously everyone's struggles are different. Your worries might be, you know, related to money, relationships, your job, or it might be less logical worries like how people feel about you or what that person thought about what you said, how many people liked your Facebook post, you know, what do people think about you in general. I am here to tell you that regardless of how logical you feel like your worries are, they are valid, they are real, and they are legitimate. Everyone's brain chooses to worry about different things. Doesn't always make sense. It's just the way it is. We just have to work with what we have. All right, I'm gonna give you 3 examples of things that I wrote down in the brain dump and then ways that I matched those with positive statements, just to really be clear on what it is I'm trying to say. So the first example is this. I'm worried that we won't be able to dye Easter eggs. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Obviously this is one from the past because Easter's over now. I didn't know if we would be able to find any eggs to dye. I didn't know if we would be able to find any dye kits. I didn't know what the circumstances would be and it was worrying me. So yeah, so that was a worry. I wrote that down. Now, here is the positive affirmation. I wrote a few, but here is what I wrote for the positive affirmations related to that statement. We will have a wonderful Easter celebration using the materials that we have, and it will be filled with love and togetherness. So you notice that I did not say I will find Easter eggs, because as much as I am a proponent of manifestation, the unfortunate reality is that I can't guarantee that I'll find Easter eggs. So instead of focusing on the Easter eggs and that one activity, I focused on Easter as a whole, what Easter is really about and what it is about the dyeing of the Easter eggs that we enjoy, which is the family time, the love and the togetherness, and the fact that we can find that other ways. Luckily, we did find Easter eggs. I think you get my point. I hope you get my point. Okay, the next example is this. I am worried that no one is going to watch this video. It's a real worry. I'm just being real. This is actually something I'm struggling with a lot because I used to do beauty videos and now I don't. And so I had quite a big audience of people who were into beauty videos and they're just not into this, and that's totally fine. And I totally expected that, and it's, you know, it's all good, but it does make it kind of hard. Here is the positive affirmation that I said to match that negative statement. I am going to enjoy the process of making this video. I am proud of myself for putting my passion and creativity into it. This video will be the best I can make it, and I will take pride in the final result. Again, I didn't say people are gonna watch the video because I can't control that. You know, just like I'm gonna find Easter eggs. I can't control that, but I can control what I choose to do. I can control making this video the best I can. Even if no one watches the video, I still have things to be proud of. I still have reason to do it and I still get something out of it. So that's another example. The last example is, I am so bothered by the mess in my home. If only I could buy more storage solutions for all the clutter. Again, this is real life. We've been in this house for almost a year now and we still have a lot of rooms to finish and stuff. And then of course, you know, so it was just winter, which is not a great time to buy furniture. I like to do thrift shopping. I like to buy as many vintage pieces as I can find that are in good condition. And winter's not a great time to do that because you have to pick it up and bring it to your house. And now we're in quarantine, so there's no shopping, so we're unable to do that. So I do kind of have this like itch of like, oh my gosh, I really want to get furniture. And especially when I see messes around my house or things that are things that are cluttered or whatever, you know, I'm working on rooms, I just think if only I had a whatever piece of furniture to put here, all my problems would be solved. It's really easy to think like that, you know? So here's the positive thought to match that negative thought. I am so grateful to have this wonderful house for our family. I am thankful for the items in this home that we love and bring us joy. I am capable of finding a solution to this problem using the materials I currently have at home. Another thing you'll notice is that I didn't say I don't need furniture. I don't want to invalidate that negative thought. So like, go back to the Easter eggs one to say I don't need Easter eggs. Like I didn't say that. It was a roundabout way of saying like I'll be okay without them, but it wasn't, I don't want to invalidate those thoughts because that can kind of have the opposite effect. I think subconsciously sometimes your thought, it's still there, you know, and if it feels invalid, it might just grow and fester and kind of take over more when you're in a weaker state of mind. So I try not to invalidate that thought. Rather, I try to focus on the positive. So instead of saying, you know, I don't need furniture, I just focus on what I have. I focus on being grateful for what I have, being grateful to have a house to furnish at all. And I focus on my strengths. So I am capable of decluttering any items that I don't want. I am capable of using what we have to make the best of the situation as it is. You know, empowering myself. That is huge. So I think you get the idea of the positive affirmations. Basically, we're just trying to balance out any negative thoughts that we've already become aware of with positive affirmations. So I guess if I had 3 tips to give you for the positive affirmations as sort of a guiding force, I would say gratitude, self-empowerment, and enjoying the process would be the last one. So, all right, we are wrapping it up now. We are on the last section of morning sheets. The last section is the bullet journal. Now again, you might think of something different when you think of bullet journal, and really you can use it however you want. I keep saying this and I'm gonna keep saying it because I want you to know that you have the power to use this to the best of your ability. You know, just because I designed it a certain way does not mean you have to use it that way. You have to use it the way that works for you. What I like to do with the bullet journal is I'll actually use this throughout the day, and I try to write down any time that I feel a really strong emotion throughout the day. You know, if something exciting happens, sometimes I'll do it at night too. That could be another way you could do it. You could do, you know, the first 3 sections in the morning and then the last one at night. But it's basically for writing down any feelings that you're having. The difference between feelings and thoughts, like we talked about thoughts in the brain dump, is feelings don't necessarily have like words to them always. I mean, you can explain your feelings with words, but it's not always like I'm worried about this, I'm afraid about this. You know, sometimes it's just I feel depressed, I feel sad, I feel anxious, I feel scared, I feel etc., 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 negative emotions. And there's not always a reason. I cannot tell you how many times I have had to tell my husband, I'm feeling really down today, and he says, why? And I say, I don't know. There's no reason. I just feel that way. And so this would be the place to write about that, to get that out, to get that down on paper, and then to come to terms with it. Because we can't change our emotions with the flip of a switch, but we can come to terms with them, and then we can carry on our lives with those emotions there, but not necessarily letting them take the wheel. We can't control our feelings always. We can let them be there, but not let them take over. Does that make sense? I hope that kind of makes sense. It's easier said than done. If you are in the throes of depression or anxiety, it's not easy to just put it aside, but it is possible to turn your focus, even if it's just for a minute or a few seconds, turn your focus to something positive. And try to do that as much as possible throughout the day. So that is kind of how I use the bullet journal. And that is how I use morning sheets. All right, you guys, I am so excited. I cannot believe I finished this. Now I'm going to tell you how you can get morning sheets for free. So if you haven't already, click the first link in my description box. I will also put a link to my blog right up here. If you go to my blog, you open the top menu and it will say morning sheets. You just click on morning sheets and you can sign up. So what you do is you're going to sign up for my email list and you're going to receive morning sheets for free. You'll also receive the guide that I recommend you read through that. You don't have to print that out if you don't want to, but you can read through that. It's just a guide, you know, it just kind of guides you through how to use morning sheets, kind of like I did in this video, only there's probably going to be different things in that guide that I'm saying today. So, and what my email list is just basically a way for me to stay connected with you guys. It's not going to be spam. It's not going to be anyone else. No one else is going to get your email address except for me. And I'm just going to send you stuff related to my business and my content. And you guys can also email me if you ever have any questions about morning sheets, if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, if you have any requests for videos, or you want to tell me a story or anything, you want to tell me me some struggles, if you have feedback on morning sheets, I would love to hear it. So when you sign up for my email list, you will have my email address and you will be able to email me with anything that you want to. So I hope that you guys love morning sheets as much as I loved creating it. I hope that it is helpful for you. I hope it helps you find mental clarity and start your day with a clear mind. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Also subscribe, I post videos every single week, and I think that's everything I have to say, guys. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate you, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye!